supremely value championships without looking at the roster construction. You're overvaluing Tim Duncan's winning in comparison to Kevin Garnett's winning without understanding. Well, I know you understand. Let me not say that. Without taking into account the roster construction in Minnesota and in San Antonio. Maybe if Stephon wouldn't have left him stranded, it would have been a little different.
KG is a top 10 player all time.
Just as far as just straight hoop goes to.
There's a whole community of people.
I can't get with that.
There's a whole community of people that believe that, and I honestly I can see the argument for it personally.
What KG top 10?
Yeah, I can see the argument for it. It's not going to be based on like the traditional stuff like winning championship, but in terms of like impact, how good he was offensively. Those people think he's the best defensive player ever. On top of that, like,
are there people who really think that?
Well, I don't think it's illegitimate either. I think Bill Russell, Hakeem, and KG is a combo. Like KG was.
You think KG is a better defender than Dennis Rodman?
No, remember I think so. But remember we had this conversation. I told you. What? I can make a very salient argument he is, but I remember we had this conversation between I said Hakeem. Yeah, we did this. I think I said Hakeem, Bill Russell, and KG are my top three.
He's not a better defender than Pippen.
He's not a better defender than Scottie Pippen either. No, he is not.
Scotty's top 5 too.
He's not a better defender than Kawhi.
He ain't a better defender than Tim Duncan neither.
He's not a better defender than Duncan. I agree with that. No, he's not.
Yes, they played. You see him. Duncan and KG played in the same era. And
yes, we know that.
Tim Duncan.
Wait, hold on. Let me check that up. I got to fact check you on that.
Many people thought Kevin Garnett was the best defender in the era. Like period.
Many people thought he was the better power forward. I'm tired of this shit. Hey, I've been holding this in for too long.
Still a conversation.
I've never watched them two play and thought that Tim Duncan was just better than Kevin Garnett. Between 2000 and 2006, just that era of them at their peak.
Well, KG was better for longer though. You know what I'm saying? Like
no, he wasn't.
No, he wasn't.
No, he was not. Better for longer.
KG's decline was very quick, but KG was better for longer. Like
how long was KG better than Duncan in your estimation? Like from bop to bop, how long is that?
For sure, 3 for me after 3, so 4, 5, 6. I think 7.
5.
I think 7. I think 7 in the conversation.
Just because they went to the finals does not mean that he was better.
And then by the time you get to 2008, KG is better. By the time you get to 2008, KG is better.
That's what I'm saying. KG was better in 08. KG was better until 11.
It gets hard because KG is one of the most talented players.
I think when it was one of those things where he was here and he started going down, but Tim Duncan kind of stayed like at that level. You know what I mean? Up until like 13, 14, you know?
So because Tim Duncan changed his game, and he didn't get worse. Let's be clear about this. He did not get worse. He just changed his game.
That's what I'm saying.
That's not getting worse.
First of all, y'all know I got Tim Duncan number 3 all time. Y'all know this. I got Tim Duncan number 3 all time. But what I'm saying is KG reached a peak higher than Tim Duncan's and was better for a while, and then Tim Duncan
2004, chill.
Okay, so from 90
in that regular season, I can make an argument. Regular season that him of all the power.
So the year he won the MVP in 2000,
the best individual season of everybody.
The year that Garnett won the league the year that Garnett won the MVP in 04. Do you think he was better than Duncan in 03 when he won the league MVP?
I said 3. You can give you Duncan, but what I said was 4.
No. I'm not talking about him being. I'm talking about 04 Duncan. Is that Duncan better than 03 Duncan?
You mean 04 Kevin Garnett better than 03?
04 Kevin Garnett. Is that 04 Kevin Garnett better than 03 Duncan?
I think so. Yes. I think so, yeah.
Yes, sir.
I think so. And I think by the time you get to 2008, I think Duncan you can give 07. But 2008, 9, when KG should have won MVP that year.
So KG
had the injuries. But
KG is the same one. I don't even know how we got on this conversation. This is a dumbass conversation.
Super chat.
But anyway.
How is this a dumbass conversation? Could you respect Kevin Garnett a little bit?
This is a great conversation.
I do respect Kevin Garnett. I respect Kevin. I think Kevin Garnett is the third best power forward in NBA history. I 100% respect Kevin Garnett. However, I think he's the third best power forward in NBA history. However, with that being said, Garnett did the same thing that Duncan did in 08. He changed his game to conform to what was going on.
Say
that one more time, Swiper.
Garnett almost won MVP that season that he did that when he went with the Celtics. And he should have.
And chill. Also, you got to understand the context.
They won a ring as well.
Chill, he did it in what
And he
was
was
that
the
year
best player in
12
that
for
team.
Garnett?
The only reason he didn't win
12 for
Finals
Garnett?
MVP, chill. The only reason he didn't win Finals MVP is because they overvalued Paul Pierce's scoring in that series. Not overvalued that in bad, overvalued that over with Kevin Garnett. Kevin Garnett changed that series.
Can't we say the same thing about Duncan in 07?
Hold on, Swiper. There was a little more to it than that. Paul Pierce.
I'm not trying
he
to.
did a little more than that.
And I could use that same argument for Tim Duncan that they overvalued Tony Parker's bucket getting because Tim Duncan changed the playoffs for them as a defender. He allowed all of those other guys to get busy as defenders. Because in fact, that's what made that Boston team what they were because Garnett was so awesome as a defender. You
supremely value championships without looking at the roster construction. You're overvaluing Tim Duncan's winning in comparison to Kevin Garnett's winning without understanding. Well, I know you understand. Let me not say that. Without taking into account the roster construction in Minnesota and in San Antonio. Maybe if Stephon wouldn't have left him stranded, it would have been a little different.
Which is fair.
There's an argument to be made that Duncan had a better career, but Kevin Garnett was more individually talented.
And by the way, if you want to talk
I'll go with that. I go with that.
If you want to talk playoff,
Kevin
Garnett was in their peak was a better playoff scorer and defender and playmaker. You got to remember, Kevin Garnett was putting together some of the best playoff scoring series for a big consistently we had seen.
Duncan.
The problem, no, he wasn't. Not compared to him. And then the issue is they kept running into Dirk and them and getting mollywopped.
And they kept and San Antonio kept running into the Lakers with Shaq and Kobe, who they by the way beat ultimately.
They won the championship 5 times over his career. What I'm saying is, if you look at the early
never missed the playoffs,
from 1996 to 2004, whenever KG got there to when he got
in 95.
He had one team that could have made the conference finals, and they did it that season with Latrell Sprewell and Wally Zerbiak. And Sam Cassell was nice. 85 years old in 2004. They got walked.
Swiper, I said this before and got booed off the stage. If Kevin Garnett had David Robinson when he came into the league, and then all of a sudden, Chill ready to boo me off the stage again. If Kevin Garnett had David Robinson, then got Tony Parker, then got Manu Ginobili, then got Kawhi Leonard, had Boris Diaw, Steven Jackson, Mario Elliott.
You forgot Sean Elliott. You forgot Michael Finley.
Elliott. Oh, yeah. Hold on. Wait. You guys know one more name? Greg Popovich. If he had all of this throughout his career, come on, y'all.
Ron, are you saying that you wish he was drafted to a better team?
Of course.
No, wish he had better teammates. But this is the thing though. This is one thing though, Swiper. The separator between Tim Duncan and Kevin Garnett for me is Tim Duncan's ability to be a better post defender against bigger bodies. Tim Duncan had that, whereas Kevin Garnett had more of ability to guard the perimeter. So I just think it separates because Tim Duncan had more of ability to bang with Shaq or bang with some of the bigger guys of that generation. And obviously I got Tim Duncan over KG all time. But if we talking about just better peer hooper, I'm rocking with KG all day.
And that's how I like to look at basketball, by hooping. How do you hoop? I like to evaluate the skill set.
If we're doing that,
I'm just saying.
See, this is what I'm talking about.
All day. I'm taking KG.
The reason why y'all saying
I'm taking KG over everybody.
The reason why y'all saying this is because of KG's ability to throw the ball between his legs because he's flashier. Meanwhile, Duncan,
a lot more than that.
No, it's not because meanwhile, there's a reason why. The reason grittier. Oh my God,
way meaner.
No, all that ball.
I'm not talking about barking. We're not talking about barking. We're talking about biting.
Because Tim Duncan didn't talk.
No, I'm not talking about talking.
That's not what we talking
about. Y'all remember when KG picked up full court? It was slapping the court.
That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about real dog. I'm not talking about barking. I'm talking about real.
KG, block your shot out the arena.
When he played Shaq in two, just for context, show, because I remember what you said. But I remember this series because we already had this conversation before. When he played Shaq in 2003 in the playoff, he had 27, 16, and 5, and shot 51% from the field in that series, and got not walked, but beat handily in 6 games. Why? Because Kobe and Shaq and the rest of that roster were significantly better than those Wolves team. You can make
that
an
is
argument.
an awful comparison. You know why that's an awful comparison? Because the next round, who did they play? Tell them who they played the next round. Tell them who they played in the next round. Go ahead. Tell everybody who they played. Tell everybody who the Lakers played in the next round. After they just got finished dealing with Minnesota.
San Antonio was better than the Wolves that year. What does that matter?
Are you kidding me? This is the same San Antonio team that had. This is the same San Antonio team who in 2003, you don't know who Tony Parker is like that. You don't know who Steven Jackson is.
You don't got to know who he is.
It doesn't matter, Chill. That does not matter.
Not only do you not know who these guys are, David Robinson is over at this point. Steve Kerr
Greg Popovich knew who they were.
Over at this point. All of that being said, Tim Duncan destroyed them.
Are you
Tim
saying
Duncan destroyed them? Do you remember Game 6 when he went for 37 and 13 and showed the three-time defending NBA champions?
Are you saying
use it? Don't let it hit you in your ass on the way out. Are you guys nuts?
That year? Are you saying the Spurs weren't better than the Wolves that season?
I'm saying that the Spurs were better than the Lakers, who you just talked about. Garnett got busy against. That's what
the 2004 Lakers.
What Duncan was.
You can't sidestep that. Are you
I'm not
sidestepping
that?
That the Wolves that year, the Lakers and the Spurs were better than the Wolves that year. Both of them.
Absolutely.
Both of those teams were better.
Absolutely.
The Spurs were better than the Minnesota Timberwolves.
What?
The Spurs were better than the Minnesota.
Wait, chill. Yeah. And that's without knowing who Manu Ginobili and Tony Parker. You don't got to know who these guys are for them to be ballers, though. Greg Popovich knew who they were. It's not about name. It's about those teams were good. Those teams, they never missed the playoffs for the whole time Tim Duncan's whole time being there. These were great teams. This is the best franchise of the century. And a lot of that has to do with Tim Duncan.
Before last year, you didn't know who Aaron Nesmith was and Andrew Nembhard. Before last year, nobody really knew who Casey Wallace was like that. Nobody know. It was a bunch of guys. Nobody knew Aaron Wiggins and all of them guys.
Right.
Like just because you don't know about somebody, don't mean
been
that
following them since the sixth grade.
Exactly. And with that being said, who do we talk about the most?
What do you mean?
Who do we talk about the most of that Oklahoma
It's a basketball team.
Right. And SGA was the reason, if not the biggest reason why they were in the position that they were in. Tim Duncan, being the defender that he was, being the offensive player that he was, being the glass cleaner that he was, being all of those things, in addition.
What does that got to do with that? He was the best player on the team. Yeah, he's the best player on the team. Nobody's arguing that. What we're saying is we know they had incompetence from the general manager spot all the way down through coaching. And remember, they had all those issues, lost draft picks over this era because the Wolves were a mess. And then the roster was never elite until 1 year where it was suddenly elite, and they went to the conference finals finally. What I'm saying is every time Kevin Garnett ran into the Spurs, ran into the Lakers, ran into the Mavericks, they were better teams, better coach, they had better front offices, and they had more talent around Dirk and Shaq and Kobe and Duncan and Manu and all those other players. That's the whole conversation. It's the same thing now. For instance, with Giannis. Let's just go to Giannis real quick. Giannis right now, I think he's clearly a top 3 player in the league. I think he could be a 2 or 1, depending on your ox. He's not going to win anything. He's going to go for the last 6 seasons or 5 seasons now out of the first round or not making the playoffs because he's on a trash team. So wait, are we then saying that the Indiana Pacers, they're not better than even because they didn't have a Giannis on the roster, or these other teams they've lost to the Miami Heat? The Miami Heat were better than the Bucks 2 years ago. They're better than the Bucks.
Are you suggesting that one player doesn't shift the series? Because that's what the best player does.
No.
That's what you're saying. No, I'm not being nasty because I understand.
So you're blaming. You're saying if Giannis wasn't enough of a series shifter versus the Pacers, and that's why he got walked 4-1 last year.
Is Giannis better than KG all time?
Hold on. Time out.
Hell no.
Side that.
Hell no.
Wait, are you saying that Giannis is not enough of a series shifter, and that's why he lost to the Pacers last year?
No, I'm not saying that. What do you mean then? What I am saying is that there are players who shift series.
Giannis is one of those players.
And he's done that before. 100%. He's done that
before. In 4 years. He hasn't been out the first round. Why?
That's not fair. That's just not fair.
What do you mean it's
not fair? You're about to lose the people, Swappy. You're about to lose the people. Keep Giannis out.
No, I'm saying in 23, he lost in the first round. In 25, he lost in the first round. Yes. What do you mean? Is that his fault? He's the reason why they lost?
No.
Was he not good enough? He had 38 and 20 to close out the series versus the Heat in Game 5, and he lost.
Yes, he did.
I like what you're doing right now. I like what Chill doing right now
they're
because
not
he's
good
holding Giannis to the standard that we hold all the other players to.
No, that's
Yes.
That's
Absolutely.
Jordan lost to
Because
the Pistons.
KD
Jordan lost to the
losing the
Pistons
first.
for
KD
years.
losing the first
No,
round.
you can't put on one
lost
player.
to
No, you can't put
Jordan
on one
lost to
player.
the Pistons.
The Timberwolves team
And you know why he
was
eventually
trash.
had
KD
to
or
lose
LeBron
to
loses
the
in the
Pistons.
first round.
multiple years.
They say it's their fault. KD or LeBron loses in the first
Timberwolves
round.
team
It's
was
their
trash in the
fault.
2000s.
No, that's
We gotta
dumb
do that
basketball.
Giannis
That's that. By the way,
No,
that's
no, they're
bad logic. So when Michael Jordan lost to the Celtics, he wasn't good enough. That was Jordan's fault, even though he's the best player in the series.
I
No
just
one's
want to
saying that. I'm
remind
just
y'all,
saying
just
we
because
gotta
I
hold the
just
same
did a
standards.
very,
No,
very
that's not. There is no
brief.
same standard. You don't
It
do
has
that.
to be.
You're
It
playing
has to
versus
be.
an all-time great team. You're playing versus an all-time great team or a very good team, and you're on a flawed roster, and you lose in the first round. You lose in the second round. Jordan lost to the Celtics every year in the playoff. He never beat Larry Bird. Jordan lost multiple years to the Pistons, and then until he got a bomb squad himself, lost all those series.
But
Was
the
he
Pistons
somehow
were a
less of a
bomb
player?
squad.
No, I agree with
LeBron
you.
in
But I'm
2015
saying-
in the finals.
but
I just want to.
Jordan
Jordan wasn't losing after
Jordan
he
wasn't shit
established
without
himself.
Scottie Pippen.
Hang on.
Jordan wasn't losing after he established himself.
That's a fact, Ron. Jordan
What
wasn't
does
shit
that
without.
mean?
Yo,
He lost in
Giannis has
94.
been
He
losing.
lost as soon as he
Giannis
came
has
back.
been losing.
He lost as soon as he came back. As soon as he came back, he
Well,
lost.
he played
Can you
13
imagine?
games. Come on, bro. Stop it, bro. Stop. You
Uh,
got
before-
What do you mean stop it? He was
Yo.
still called the best player in the world.
But he played like 17 games and then played the playoffs.
Time out.
Stop it, man.
Yeah, but he had
Kevin
50
Garnett
at the
before
bottom,
Kevin Garnett got traded to Boston. So Minnesota versus the San Antonio Spurs head to head, season over season from when Duncan was a rookie onward, right? Because Duncan was pretty good as a rookie. I'm not holding anything against him. The record was Spurs 17, Minnesota 14. Let's not act like Kevin Garnett was on some sort of trash ass team. He was not on a trash
They
team.
were trash. Yep.
No, they were not.
They
By the
were
time he
trash.
got to
No,
the
they
playoffs,
were not.
They were trash compared to the
No,
Spurs.
they weren't trash.
Yo,
They're
Ron,
pretty
hey, let's
bad.
get to the draft,
They
bro.
were not trash.
Pin
That's
just
nonsense.
yapping
That don't
now.
make no sense. That
No,
makes no
because
sense
you know what?
whatsoever.
After
Pig
you
yapping now.
want to know something? After Kevin
sense.
Garnett was traded to Boston, the Spurs won 16 straight. 16 straight against Minnesota. That was a trash team.
Because what we do is we hope.
Yes, because they didn't have Kevin Garnett no more.
Let's ask the question.
Delsky, what we do
They were
is we
not a
hold
trash
these
team.
players to specific standards. Is that correct? Okay,
Exactly.
so what I want to do is I want to
No,
talk to
that's
you.
dumb, by the way.
Okay,
It's dumb now
Giannis'
because
fault they lost to
this
the
era.
Pacers.
Right.
dumb now because it's this era.
We've always
Gary
we've always-
Trent Jr. was his second best
We've
player.
always held players
don't
to
matter.
Gary
standards.
Trent
So
Jr.?
Delsky, what I'm gonna ask you is today. Like, let's say James, for example.
Better than anything.
Let's say James, for example. Do you
Gary
remember
Trent Jr. was the second best scorer on the
Do
team.
you
last
remember
year.
in 2015 when they played against even with the depleted roster that he had? Do you remember in 2015 when they went up on the Warriors in the finals? What was the
2-1.
expectation?
2-1, yeah.
At
They
that point,
lost because they didn't have
no,
another option.
stop right there.
They
Stop
said
right
you're
there.
up. You're up. Finish the deal.
What was the expectation?
Right.
Finish
The
the deal.
expectation.
Stupid.
Okay, wait. Rewind. In 2006, when Kobe Bryant and that Laker team went up 3-1 on that Phoenix team, what was
Bro,
the expectation?
that's a different
Finish the
series
deal.
than the 15
Okay,
one
finish
with
the
the
deal.
Warriors and
So
Cavs.
with that being said, in the 1997-1998 season, KG, that Minnesota Timberwolves team went up 2-1 on that Seattle team, and they lost.
Yep.
And they
What?
lost.
Are you talking about?
He didn't
Are you talking about
finish.
year three? This year three
You
for
know,
Kevin
this is the
Garnett?
difference
Now we're talking
between
about year
people
three,
who
because
were there
Duncan,
and
by the
people
way,
who are
because-
just
No,
catching
hold
up.
on.
now.
Time out.
Duncan, by the way,
chill. No,
Yeah.
this the reason why this is nasty.
Why
Are
is
you
this
telling me that when it was Timothy Mozgov and Matthew Dellavedova as his second and third option,
Yeah, it's true.
he
Yeah.
didn't do enough to win that series
To be
versus
honest
the
with you,
Warriors?
to be honest with you,
No,
Swiper,
that is disgusting.
He should have been finals MVP.
Because you're bringing it to me. So, Swiper, you're bringing it to
Disgusting.
me, and I'm telling you how I felt about it. And they were up 2-1. Delsky, in my mind, I'm thinking, they're going to beat these dudes. That was what I was thinking.
Your mind.
I'm like,
You also.
he
You
got me. He had
chill.
me.
But
Chill.
that wasn't
You
my
also
They shouldn't have been up 2-1.
It wasn't the expectation when Kyrie
because in
Irving went down.
2018 he thought LeBron was so good. He said, "Chill." Himself said that had they played the Rockets in the
would've beat
NBA
them.
Finals that
They
year,
would.
they would have beat them. They would have got walked.
I don't think
by
they
that
would've beat
Rockets
them.
team.
Even with that being
Yeah,
said,
they
let's
wouldn't have
stay where we are. Let's stay right where we are. In 2015, when they went up 2-1 on that Warriors team, he got the Russian at the 5, Tristan Thompson at the 4, him at the 3, J.R. Smith at the 2, and Dellavedova at the 1. I'm thinking he's gonna beat these guys. I'm thinking that because of what I had just seen. I'm like, these dudes are gonna win the NBA championship.
Here,
No question about it. But they ended up falling apart. They ended up falling apart.
No. I'm gonna
Now
read this
they ended up falling
Chill.
apart. Now,
Game four.
One
That
mic,
series lined you up. Game 4. Game 4 to tie that series up, since Shill's talking about this, LeBron wasn't good. 20 points, 7 of 22. I remember it was a blowout. It was over in the third quarter. In that game, Timothy Mozgov had 28 points, 9 of 15 from the field, 10 rebounds. He was eating everything at the rim off of LeBron that year. And then Tristan Thompson was his second leading scorer in that game, 12 points. Matthew Dellavedova, fourth leading scorer in that game, 10 points. Iman Shumpert, fifth leading scorer in that game, 5 points. That's what happened in that game.
That's when the Warriors went small, though. That's when the Warriors went small.
They went small.
Yep.
They went small. And then remember, Chill, game 5, if we want to keep going through this again, so we go to game 5. The Warriors beat them by 13 points in that game. Do you remember the box score in that game, Chill? Well, probably not. That's a long time ago. That's not a trap question. I'm not trying to trap you. In that game, LeBron had 14 rebounds, and 11 assists.
That was game 5.
Scored 5. The Cavaliers had 91 points scored. He scored damn near 50% of their points, and they got beat by 13 points in that game. What is his number 2 option? Who was his number 2 option in that game, chat? Tristan Thompson, 19 points. So you're telling me that LeBron getting a 40, 14, and 11 triple-double in that game, shooting damn near 50% from the field with how many turnovers he had in that game? 2 turnovers versus that Warriors team. With Tristan Thompson as his number 2 option, you're saying he should have won that game. He didn't do enough to win that game in game 5. Yes or no? He didn't do enough to win that game in game 5.
That's not a very direct question. No.
What do you mean? You said he was good enough to do it. You said he was good enough to do it.
It's so nasty. The reason why that's so nasty is because I'm going off of what I had seen previous to that those last 3 games.
Let me go to game 6.
That's what I'm going. I'm going off of previous what I seen in game 1, game 2.
Last one. All
right, let's go.
So game 6, because they lost in 6, Chill. So the game before, he had 40, 14, and 11 with 2 turnovers, 91 points scored. He didn't do enough, so they lost.
The momentum had gotten swung at that point.
When they lost by 8 points, LeBron James has 32 points, 18 rebounds, and 9 assists.
He got busy in that series.
His second leading scorer was Timothy Mozgov. So, Chill, what you're telling me is that in a game where Timothy Mozgov in game 6 was the second leading scorer, in game 5, when Tristan Thompson was the second leading scorer, LeBron, who averaged, 37, 16, and 10 the last 2 games of that series, it went 0-2. He should have won that series.
He was one vote away from
really quickly, Ron. This is bad because what you're trying to suggest. You're suggesting that I felt like that the entire series. After game 3, I thought that they were going to win the series. As the series went on, I recognized they were not going to beat this team. They didn't have enough. Up until that point, I'm like, they're going to beat these guys. But then the series
you said the same
because
thing.
What happened was Steve Kerr went to the small ball lineup, and then it got completely changed. 100% it did. I say the same thing in 1997, 1998, when I watched the Minnesota Timberwolves go into Seattle and win game 2 and beat Seattle, and then come home and win game 3, which, by the way, Belsky, is a 5-game series. They win the next game, series is over. They win the next game, the series is over. We get to end this thing. With that being said, at that point, I thought that they were going to win the series. Moving forward, the way that the Golden State Warriors played, the adjustments that they made, changed my thoughts. Up until that point in game 3, the way James was playing, the way he was playing, the way Matthew Dellavedova, the way J.R. Smith was playing off of him, definitely I thought they were going to beat these dudes. Yes.
It's the panel. Religion get built on cam. Where the check throw smoke and the hoes go ham. You ain't never seen hoops out here did raw. Every take got weight, every night we drop. This that barbershop. Courtside, worldwide tone. Welcome to the only show that really feel like numbers jumping like the score.